All right, let's just jump right in, shall we? Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are unpacking a recipe that is, frankly, guaranteed to bring you happiness. We're breaking down the ultimate make-ahead layer dessert, a proper South African peppermint crisp tart. Seriously, think of this thing as a vibrant, colorful masterpiece. We're talking lush amber caramel mousse, crisp golden coconut biscuits, and these sharp mint green chocolate shards that soften overnight into what you could honestly call a South African version of tiramisu. Your mom or granny might have thrown this together for Sunday lunch, and today we're going to break down exactly how you can construct it perfectly in your own kitchen. Here is our roadmap for today. First, the South African tiramisu. Second, crafting coconut tennis biscuits. Third, preparing the mint chocolate. Fourth, the crucial caramel cream. Fifth, layering your calorie mountain. And finally, number 6, patience for perfect texture. Okay, section 1, the South African tiramisu, a global dessert. Okay, let's dive into this. To understand what makes this legendary dessert tick, we have to look at the ingredients. At its core, this dish is all about the beautiful, colorful interplay of 3 things: a luscious caramel mousse, a crisp biscuit, and mint chocolate. In South Africa, the originals are tennis biscuits, which is this beloved golden coconut shortbread, and peppermint crisp, a really unique little mint chocolate bar. But the whole point of this explainer is to make this accessible no matter where you live. So if you're in the UK, Australia, or New Zealand, you can easily just grab nice biscuits and Aramint. Or if you're over in the US, graham crackers and finely chopped Andes mints will absolutely do the job. You can build this vibrant dessert wherever you are in the world. Moving on to section 2. Crafting coconut tennis biscuits, the golden base. Let's start building those warm, sandy yellow and golden brown hues for our base. Now look, if baking isn't your thing, go ahead and use those store-bought substitutes we just talked about. No judgment here, but for the real deal experience, we're gonna craft these fragrant coconut biscuits entirely from scratch. We need 40 grams, that's about half a cup of desiccated coconut. Actually, here's a pro tip from our source. Give that coconut 5 or 6 quick pulses in a spice grinder, just until the oil releases and it smells incredibly fragrant. Just don't turn it into an oily paste. Then, sift together 240 grams of plain flour, 50 grams of powdered sugar, and 8 grams of baking powder. Mix in that beautiful blended coconut and 3 grams of salt. Now for the butter. 113 grams or 1 stick of unsalted butter. You want to leave this out at room temperature for just about 10 minutes so it's pliable, but absolutely not soft. I absolutely love this quote from the source. Melted butter makes nasty biscuits. It's funny, right? But it is a deadly serious warning. If you have warm hands and you work the dough too slowly, that butter is going to melt. We are looking for a sandy texture, and melted butter will completely destroy that crisp, shortbread finish we're after. So how do we avoid the dreaded nasty biscuit? Quick and cold. That's the secret. Follow these 4 steps. First, swiftly and coldly rub that pliable butter into your dry mix. Second, beat together 80 grams of sweetened condensed milk with 1 large egg and blend that right into your dry mix to form a soft touch stinky dough. Third, wrap it flat, chill it for 30 minutes, then roll it thin between parchment paper and cut it into 8-centimeter squares. Dock them with a fork and toss them in the freezer until they're hard. Finally, you bake them at 160 degrees Celsius, that's 320 degrees Fahrenheit. The condensed milk and coconut brown incredibly fast, so keep a really close eye on them. Remember, color is flavor. Once they hit that gorgeous golden brown, get them straight onto a wire rack to cool completely. All right, section 3, preparing the mint chocolate, the crisp green shards. Now we shift our visual palette to those striking, crisp mint greens. This chocolate element is the signature visual and textural counterpoint to our golden biscuits, but honestly, this one rule will save your dessert. Freeze your chocolate first. Whether you source genuine peppermint crisp or you're using Aramint or Andes, put it in the freezer. Cold chocolate chops crisply into tiny, neat pieces. If you try to chop it at room temperature, it's just going to slowly melt into big, messy, smeared chunks all over your cutting board. Nobody wants that. Chop it fine and set it aside in the fridge. Section 4, the crucial caramel cream, the luscious binder. Okay, moving into the rich amber of caramelized condensed milk and those soft, cloud-like whites of whipped cream. You're gonna need 500 grams of heavy whipping cream whipped to stiff peaks, and a separate bowl with 385 grams of caramel treat, dulce de leche. But pay close attention here. There is a tiny step when mixing the cream that most people get wrong, and our source says this leads to tears of sorrow instead of tears of joy. This is literally the single trapdoor that ruins the texture for even seasoned cooks. So the crucial point is how you combine these 2 radically different textures. Do not just dump all the whipped cream into the caramel at once. Think about it. The caramel is incredibly dense and heavy, and the cream is mostly air. If you force them together in one go, you'll end up with a streaky, unmixed caramel mess and completely overworked cream. Instead, do this. Smooth the caramel out with 6 grams of salt first. Then, take a tiny bit of the cream and add it to the caramel just to loosen it up. After that, you can fold the remaining cream in swiftly but gently, bit by bit, until you have a flawlessly fluffy amber caramel mousse. Let's bring it all together. Section 5. Layering your calorie mountain. The grand assembly. This is the magic moment where all those beautiful colors we've been building, the golden brown, the crisp mint green, that luscious amber caramel, finally collide in a 1.5-liter dish. To construct your calorie mountain, you're going to start by laying down a base of that fluffy caramel mousse. Next, add a layer of your completely cooled golden biscuits. If you prefer, you can even roughly crush the biscuits and sprinkle them instead. Totally up to you. You also want to fold about 2/3 of your chopped mint chocolate into the dessert as you build it. You'll repeat this alternating sequence 3 or 4 times, always making sure to end with a thick, beautiful layer of mousse right at the summit. And finally, generously and with absolutely zero shame, blanket the top with all those remaining crisp green chocolate shards. Finally, Section 6, Patience for Perfect Texture, the chill. Okay, you have assembled an absolute masterpiece, but you cannot eat it yet. I know, it's tragic. There is one unseen ingredient left that creates the perfect mouthfeel. And this brilliantly illustrates the hardest part of the recipe: 6 hours. You must place this dish into the fridge for a minimum of 6 hours, though leaving it overnight is genuinely the best move. This time allows the moisture from that lush caramel mousse to slowly seep into the biscuits. It softens them up just slightly while still retaining a really satisfying hint of texture. This chilling process is what transforms it from a bowl of separate ingredients into a cohesive, sliceable South African tiramisu. So, I want to leave you with a question to genuinely think about. Who will you share this masterpiece with to live a happy life? Food is all about connection, right? And, as our source wisely points out, making this highly convenient, incredibly colorful, and delicious dessert is meant for the full enjoyment of you and the people you share it with. So grab your ingredients, embrace the vibrant culinary process, and go make someone's Sunday lunch completely unforgettable. Thanks so much for joining me on The Explainer today, and as always, keep learning.